Dana White confirms Khamzat Chimaev is next.
Dricus Khamzat is a pretty big fight that you guys can put on right now.
Yeah.
I would give DDP the advantage over Khamzat right now.
Styles make fights, and you never seen Dricus fight. Good wrestler, and Khamzat's one of the best.
Khamzat just shoots from like 15 feet away and gets a hold of your
But I
legs.
would say
And you got to think his endurance is probably going to be better at 85 than it was at 70 because of the cut for Khamzat. It's like 85 is really where he should have been all along.
But again, he gassed out against Usman. Usman went up to 85.
Usman's a world champion, you know. In the third round, Usman did what a world champion does. He rallied. Occasionally, I have to confront them about certain things. Like when Khamzat Chimaev beat Kevin Holland. And I was in a very interesting situation because Khamzat weighed in 8.5 pounds overweight. And he fucked up the entire main event. So I wanted to praise Khamzat because he just ragdolled Kevin Holland in one of the most spectacular performances of the year. But also, he weighed in 8.5 pounds overweight. He fucked up the entire promotion. Like, why did it happen?
Khamzat, that was an incredibly impressive performance against Kevin Holland, but you just ran right through.
I'm most dangerous guy here. I got a gun for everyone. I kill everybody. Allah Akbar.
You came into this fight far overweight. What was that all about?
I don't care about that, bro. I killed that guy.
I know you don't care about that now, but if you want to compete for the welterweight title, it's important that they know that you can make 170 pounds.
I'm supposed to make that weight as well, but doctor, stop me. Nobody can stop me. If I die in the cage.
UFC's most controversial matchup that still hasn't been booked. Is the undefeated Khamzat Chimaev actually ducking the middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis? Why is Dana White holding back on making this fight official? And did Joe Rogan just predict a shocking upset that nobody sees coming? The fight world is buzzing after UFC legend Yoel Romero just made a stunning prediction about the potential Chimaev vs. Du Plessis matchup. This fight is turning into a war of words with shots being fired from all directions. So what's the real reason this fight isn't happening yet? And why did Du Plessis just drop that brutal line saying, between Khamzat and Shara there are only 3 senses? Stay tuned because we're unpacking all of it right now.
What do you make of him? Because I gotta be honest, man, like, at first I thought he wasn't very good, but clearly he's good, right? Because he beats everybody, and then he goes and finishes Adesanya. Like, what do you make of Dricus Du Plessis? Especially seeing that he submitted Izzy. I've never seen him submit anybody.
Yeah, but Izzy is going down slowly. I don't think so. He's not motivated like before.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, but Izzy is a better fighter than Du Plessis, I think.
You think Izzy's better than Dricus?
Yeah,
but they fought.
Yeah, they fought, but like a fighter, I mean, but then you have how much you're hungry, how much you want. These things, you can be a bad fighter and you could be, that some guy can beat you up 4 rounds and last round because you win the fight, you know, so. That's, I think he don't have anymore.
Let's start with why this matchup has everyone talking. Dricus Du Plessis, the awkward, relentless champion who just dominated Sean Strickland at UFC 312, breaking his nose in 6 different places. And then there's Khamzat Chimaev, the undefeated Chechen Wolf who absolutely dismantled Robert Whittaker at UFC 308, even dislocating his teeth with a face crank. What makes this fight so intriguing is their completely different approaches. Du Plessis keeps winning despite his unorthodox style, while Chimaev's wrestling looks absolutely unstoppable. After his win over Strickland, Du Plessis made it crystal clear who he wants next. Khamzat is first. Pereira is such a legend in this sport already that to me, it would be amazing to beat him for my legacy. I want to be the greatest to ever do this. But Khamzat is next, and I'm going to make sure there's no question I'm the GOAT of the middleweight division.
Khamzat would also be pretty massive at this point. So if it were up to you and he came to...
No, Khamzat's first. It would be amazing to beat him for my legacy. I want to make sure that this belt, the middleweight title, that there's no question that I'm the GOAT of the middleweight division, then going up. So I'm not rushing that my next fight is Alex Pereira. No. I want the Khamzat next. I think he deserves a hiding.
But here's where things get interesting. Despite Du Plessis calling him out, despite Dana White suggesting the fight will happen, and despite Chimaev being the clear #1 contender, there's still no official announcement. So what do the experts think about this matchup? Joe Rogan recently weighed in on his podcast, and his take is fascinating. It's hard to say. We don't know what would happen with Khamzat. Khamzat just shoots from like 15 feet away and gets a hold of your legs so quick. you've got to think that his endurance is probably going to be better at 185 than it was at 170 because of the weight cut. 85 is really where he should have been all along.
Khamzat just charged in, dove in, got him down, and mauled him. Mauled him until he broke his face.
Do you think it's different with Du Plessis?
Like, I don't know, man. The grappling that he possesses seems magnitudes greater than anybody else in his division. What he did to Whittaker was just, nobody thought that was going to happen. That was crazy.
But the most surprising prediction came from UFC legend Yoel Romero, who rarely praises other fighters. Speaking with Submission Radio, the Cuban fighter said, Du Plessis is a very intelligent guy. I think the most danger for him is intelligence. He's very intelligent when he fights. He have a good strategy. The mentality for him is very good.
Dana White confirms Khamzat Chimaev is next.
Dricus Khamzat is a pretty big fight that you guys can put on right now.
Yeah. I would give DDP the advantage over Khamzat right now.
Styles make fights, and you never seen Dricus fight. Good wrestler, and Khamzat's one of the best.
Khamzat just shoots from like 15 feet away and gets a hold of your
But I
legs.
would say
And you got to think his endurance is probably going to be better at 85 than it was at 70 because of the cut for Khamzat. It's like 85 is really where he should have been all along.
But again, he gassed out against Usman. Usman went up to 85.
Usman's a world champion, you know, in the third round, Usman did what a world champion does. He rallied.
He's very good. Despite those compliments, Romero still gives the edge to Chimaev. It's very difficult, but 60-40 Chimaev, 60% for Chimaev, 40% for Du Plessis. Wrestling. The wrestling for Chimaev right now is very, very dangerous. It's Olympic level.
I felt strong, I felt fit, like I was focused, I was locked in, everything was picture perfect. Got in there, within seconds of the fight starting, I felt real comfortable standing with him. And the dude drops to like a millimeter. How do you stop that takedown? And then, mate, he puts his forearm across, it just hits right there. Instantly, my teeth gave out. Obviously, the squeezing afterwards didn't help.
Meanwhile, welterweight champion Belal Muhammad was even more dismissive of Du Plessis' chances. He's got a tough test in front of him with Khamzat. I don't think he's going to get past Khamzat, but maybe I still go up there anyway to smack him around, right?
And if we go up, if, what's his name, Dricus still has the title, he beats what's-his-face, Adesanya, and, you know, he was trying to talk tough to me, I'll go smack him around, try to get 2 belts.
Dricus Du Plessis. But when you're looking at the guys he fought stylistically, right? He hasn't fought a guy who trying to take him down yet. It's all been strikers. His last two, it's Adesanya and Strickland. Like when he fought Brunson was killing him the first couple rounds. And then he just gassed. You know, we've seen him get taken down by Brunson. We've seen him get taken down by Whittaker. He's got taken down by guys so easily. That's why I think Chimaev's gonna walk through.
I know that's your boy, but Khamzat has got some of the worst cardio in the entire company.
You don't need cardio if you finish a guy in 2 minutes.
But Dricus isn't gonna get finished. He's got an iron chin and an iron will.
Can Khamzat Chimaev finish Dricus Du Plessis?
The trash talk between these fighters has already started heating up. It all began when Shara Magomedov, another middleweight contender, took a shot at Du Plessis, saying, "I will be very happy if Du Plessis loses his belt. I don't understand how he managed to get this belt."
Next week, Sean Strickland, Dricus Du Plessis. Who do you think wins that fight?
You know, it doesn't matter to me who wins because I think that I can be a great fight for both of them.
Yeah.
I just feel that this time around, Strickland's gonna win.
Okay.
Du Plessis fired back with a brutal response on social media, saying, "Between Khamzat and Shara, there are only 3 senses: touch, smell, and sound." That's a vicious shot at both fighters. Du Plessis is suggesting Shara has problems with his eyesight, while Khamzat lost his sense of taste after contracting COVID-19. When a fan commented about Shara's tears flowing in zigzag lines, Du Plessis doubled down with, "You mean tear," mocking Shara's vision issues once more. What's fascinating is that Shara Magomedov, despite criticizing Du Plessis, made this surprising confession. "I always thought that his Du Plessis opponent would win all the fights in the UFC. Du Plessis, for the last 5 fights, I always bet on his opponent. But he will somehow win. I am constantly surprised by this, and somehow, I don't know, somehow he manages to do that there in the fight."
Is he good enough to defend the takedowns of Chimaev? Let's go further with it. Is he good enough to take Chimaev down? I've never seen Chimaev lose a stand-up fight. I'm watching how good Dricus is in a stand-up fight. Do you believe that Chimaev can tackle this man? Chimaev has gotten on top of everybody with no exception inside of 5 minutes. And you guys remember the Robert Whittaker fight? He came right across the ring, got him right down right away. Chimaev versus Dricus feels different. What a match. Dricus Du Plessis, world champion. It's not quite as obvious that he couldn't go with Alex Pierre. It's not quite as obvious as it felt. It's not quite as obvious that he can't go with Chimaev. Things feel very different right now.
UFC veteran Chael Sonnen recently expressed frustration about why this obvious matchup hasn't been announced yet. It's getting to a point that it's annoying. Anytime a guy, particularly a non-champion, holds up an entire division, we have a problem. You're going to crush the drive of the entire room.
According to rumor and Chimaev himself, he has travel issues. It's the second time that this rumor came up on Chimaev. The first time, I'm the one that broke that it wasn't true. So this rumor has now come up again. And a bigger question is, can he get the match? And I would have to think yes. I would not think somebody could be named a #1 contender if there was an intent to make good on that. Chimaev has not only been named the #1 contender, that came when he beat Kamaru Usman. Chimaev has been named the #1 contender for a second time. That came when he beat Whittaker. I say yes. I think he does get the opportunity.
Part of the delay might be due to logistical issues. Chimaev hasn't fought in the United States since UFC 279 in September 2022, leading to speculation about visa problems. Du Plessis addressed this concern directly. According to Dana, yes, things are being sorted out, but that's just what we saw, what he said. I know as much as you do in terms of that. Hopefully, once again, after the break, I'll be talking with Hunter and the guys and get more clarity on that.
Where does Khamzat Chimaev fit into the middleweight division? Do you think he'll get the winner of Strickland Du Plessis, or is he going to fight again before a title shot?
Yeah, I think he probably gets the next shot.
We can't go on a, yeah, we have a fight date, but we don't have that sort of date. Going into a fight camp and getting ready for a fight and committing to a fight and preparing for somebody like him, then the fight doesn't happen because of something like a visa. We need to know that that's going to be a certain, for sure thing before any fight is signed.
Khamzat is next. I want to make sure that this belt, the middleweight title, that there's no question that I'm the GOAT.
I'm most dangerous guy here. I gotta come before everyone. I kill everybody. Allahu Akbar.
You came into this fight far overweight.
Du Plessis recently revealed his strategy for beating the undefeated Chimaev, and it revolves around exploiting what many believe is Khamzat's biggest weakness, his cardio. He goes for it in that first round, and he's really hard to deal with in the beginning of a fight, but so am I. Once we get there, that's the thing. When you go that hard in the first round, 2, 3, 4, 5 comes, you still have to be there. I've proven that I am there in those rounds. So that is 100% a situation where I see if he can last that long. He has to realize, every round, I'm going to come out. I'm still going to be there like I was in the first, ready to kill. And that will never change in my game. UFC star Michael Venom Page agrees with this assessment. If anybody was to beat Chimaev, it would be Dricus. Because that is the muscular endurance. Merab, Dricus, these guys have the muscular endurance to be fighting at 7 the whole fight. Khamzat, he starts at 10, and he tries to maintain that. And it's almost impossible to maintain that. So if you don't kill him and get him out of there in that first round, second round, then you're going to have a problem for the rest of the fight.
And I can't wait. I cannot wait what's next for DDP. What are you looking at next for DDP in for his next fight?
He obviously called out Alex Pereira on the post-fight interview, didn't he? And that was a big moment. I feel like the cameramen at the UFC had one job. You know? They left the camera on Dricus while he was literally quoting the movie Troy.
Yeah.
And it was just on him the whole time. And he was talking directly to Alex Pereira, and they never panned the camera to Pereira. That would have been a good moment, but I think they want the Chimaev fight.
While no official date has been announced, Du Plessis has mentioned he'd love to headline International Fight Week in July. Will we be ready for a date on International Fight Week like that? because that would be incredible if that's possible. International Fight Week is amazing. I've been lucky enough to fight on International Fight Week a couple of times, so to headline it will be something special. For Du Plessis, this fight isn't just about defending his belt. It's about cementing his legacy as the greatest middleweight of all time. People see Khamzat as this boogeyman. That's a fact. I don't. I don't see that. For me, I only see one thing. That's the potential to do good to my legacy, the potential to make my legacy even better. I'm not celebrating being the third best middleweight, the third longest winning streak. Absolutely not. I am number one. And that's what I'm going for. I never doubted myself for one single day. There wasn't a fight, there wasn't a time I ever doubted it. I knew there was work to be done. I knew there were big shoes to fill. The great Anderson Silva is one of my heroes, so I am not oblivious to the fact of how big these shoes are. But I have never, for one day, stood up when I woke up and thought, I can't fill these shoes. I know I will. That's what I'm going for. The legacy of being the greatest to ever do this. So there you have it, fight fans. The middleweight division is on fire with anticipation for this potential super fight between Du Plessis and Chimaev.
Hey, so what now? Say something! So what now? All you boys, this is just your... I kill everybody, Allah Akbar! Woo! Oh, just like that!
Will Du Plessis continue his improbable run and prove all the doubters wrong once again? Or will Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling dominance be too much for the South African champion? Let us know your predictions in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any of our UFC coverage. This is MMA Central, and we'll see you next time.